All right, so we're out here at a bed bug job, and it's a good one. Tyler, what do we got going on today?
Well, we got an eight-room boarding house that we've already heated once, but it was so bad that the game plan was to double heat it. First we heated it, killed 90% of the bugs, then they kicked everybody out because nobody cared that they had the bugs and we're just bringing them back in. So now we're heating again now that it's empty.
So in this video, we're gonna go over how to set up all of our equipment, what it looks like, what it smells like, and better yet, how to treat the bugs they're actually dealing with. From start to finish, you're gonna get the whole tour of this whole place. It's gonna be fun. Stay tuned.
All of this right here, this is all bed bug poop, fecal staining basically. When we first heated this before they kicked everybody out, there was bed bugs crawling all over these walls. It's all the shed skins. It's a layer of shed skins about an inch thick. They're all over the walls. Like, you never find bed bugs in bathrooms, like very rare. They're just everywhere. I can only imagine what it looked like in here, like originally. It's wild.
People lived in here.
Yeah.
Have you seen any live bed bugs yet?
Not today, no. But we did heat this place once, and when you move everybody out too, the bed bugs, they lose all their hiding spots, so where they go is the walls, they go into the floors, and that's one reason that we use the heat, because that's the only way to get to them. Unless you start drilling holes in the walls, but we don't want to do that. So I wonder if this is freaking empty. It's better, but man, that's fucking nasty in there. It's a little better in here this time versus the last time we were in here. Last time, I was literally walking on stuff to get all of our equipment in here. At least took some of the stuff out, but I wish you could smell that thing through that camera. Oh man. We're still gonna make this work and everything. Technically, they were supposed to have this all ripped out and emptied or whatnot, but that's one of the reasons with bed bugs that we do heat treatments. Try to come in here and spray. People don't prep. So with the heat, it's just gonna soak into everything and kill everything that's in here.
It's a smell that I've never smelled before.
Oh.
It smells like death.
Yeah, look at this. It's just caked with bed bugs. Just caked. There's fecal stain around this mirror. They're in the holes in the wall. Like this pillow alone, this is all bed bug poop on here. They're just caked in the window. It's wild in here, this whole pillow. They're probably just everywhere in here. I know when we first heated it, they were running on the walls in this unit too. These are people that don't care that they have bed bugs, unfortunately.
And the property management company owns this, right?
Yeah, property man. Well, technically they just manage it. Some guy in a different state owns it, just like most of our jobs. He's never actually even seen this property before.
I kind of feel like Mike Rowe on Dirty Jobs. Tyler, what you got there?
So this is called a Sleep Tight 700. It's a bit modified. I put bigger wheels on the back, the front caster wheels on the front. This thing is about 75,000 BTUs, and oh, perfect. I basically modified it though so that one person can do jobs with this. This will do about 1,000 square feet by itself, and it's mainly for like apartments, hotel rooms, things like that, but they come in really handy for supplementing heat in areas like big places like this. Basically, heaters are all based off square footage on how big of a place you can do.
So in layman's terms, this
Yeah.
the heater.
Yeah.
It gets really hot.
Yeah.
And kills all the bed bugs.
Turns into a big oven in here, basically. And then basically once you get it hot, then you let it sit at that hot temp. That lets the heat soak into the walls, soaks through the furniture, just annihilates them.
How long do you typically let it set up for?
So usually about an hour to get up to temp. Sometimes about an hour and a half. Today's probably gonna be about an hour and a half. And then after that, you let it sit for about 4 hours. And between the heat itself and then a bunch of fans all over the place, that's how you push all the heat around.
What heater are we trying to get it up to?
We're trying to hit like 140 today.
Cool.
This heater weighs about 175 pounds, which is actually pretty light. So this is called the Titan Green Tech heater. It's about 1 million BTUs. Can do 3,000 to 4,000 square feet by itself. It has a heat rise of about 300 to 350 degrees. This thing's an animal.
This is, I'm assuming it runs off propane?
Yeah. This is the biggest heater you can buy too. This one weighs about 175 pounds, so it's not the funnest to get upstairs by itself, but. Yep. All right. What we do with this is it sucks air in from the outside, throws it over the burner, heats it up, and so you're constantly pumping positive oxygen pressure into the house too. So rather than just heating it up, we're basically taking the air that's in there, forcing it out through the cracks of the windows and the doors, putting new air in there, and that's how you pressurize the house. Helps force the heat a little bit more. Yeah, and because that heater's so big, I actually had this custom made for me. Because we're using so much propane, it'll actually freeze these 100-gallon tanks up too. And because we live in Wisconsin and our weather is not the same as like California where the heaters come from, they recommend 2 tanks and it'll even freeze those up. So I had a custom regulator made so I can run it off of 4 tanks. We do a lot of bed bug jobs. Now we don't have to fill up every single day, and we can do treatments in 0-degree weather and the tanks are still good. So works out really nice. These are basically what we attach to the front of the heater. It's called Mylar ducting. We use this to channel the heat through the house and everything like that, straight from the heater. We got different splitters and stuff like that too we'll put on it. Basically run one of these into each bedroom, force the air out in the bedrooms, run it back down the hallway out the front door where we have the heater sitting, and that's how we pressurize it.
Well, this trailer door is a little lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, so this heater, this one's called a Flagro. This is about, I think it's like 650,000 BTUs. Can do about 2,500 square feet, 180-degree heat rise. Not a big fan of using it. It's one of those heaters that we kind of got to play around with and see how it worked, and we weren't big fans of it, but we keep it around. For one, because it's diesel, so we don't have to worry about propane tanks freezing up in the winter and stuff. And also because it's just, I mean, it's one of those ones that just has some purpose, just it's not something we want to regularly use. Weighs 450 pounds empty. It's got a 45-gallon diesel tank on it. When you fill that, the thing's like 750 pounds. It's just not fun to move. We did modify it with these cool caster wheels on the back, which make it easier, but yeah. We're gonna use it today though, because we're doing about 6,000 square feet throughout this whole building. And
this isn't the biggest one that you have.
No, the green one's actually the bigger one. And then we have that jet heat heater at home too. That one's a GT 550, but that one's also diesel, runs 97% fuel efficiency, so you can actually set it inside buildings and use it. But that one's got a jet engine in it, so it's like insanely loud. So we don't use that one. It was more nostalgic to get that one than anything.
Nothing like having a $100,000 heater just sitting at the shop.
All right, cool. And this is a custom Tyler Zillis original right here too. I don't know any other heat trailer that has one of these. And basically it's just storage for ducting and everything like that. Real pain in the butt to make, but super practical to have. The only problem is this bar got bent because of all the weight. But no real practical place to store all your ducting, so custom made that. Just like the green one, the black one uses ducting too. Basically use that to go into the house.
Is that what's in that yellow can, is diesel fuel?
Yeah, that's all diesel fuel. What is it, 30-gallon tanks or something like that? Oh, those tanks are, and we'll use all that gas today. This thing's like a guzzler. But like I said, this one's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get the ducting on and everything like that. They used to be super popular. Can't even buy these anymore. A lot of the stuff with all the heat treatment stuff that we have too is just figuring out different ways to make our lives easier. A lot of guys will struggle, their trailers are a mess, but I'm like OCD about the trailer, everything has a place. whatever can make our lives more efficient, get the treatment set up faster, because the whole heat job in general generally takes 8 to 10 hours depending on where we're going. So faster we can get set up and get things rolling, the better. So we actually we heated this building one time before this, and we're heating it again now that everybody's kicked out, just because people were bringing bugs back in and it was so bad we basically preheated it. Perfect. Yeah, so basically there's a burner in here that heats up, and once it gets heated up, then this fan just pushes the heat out. This is actually 97% fuel efficient too, so this is complete fresh air going into the unit. Whereas the green one, it has a slight carbon monoxide emission into it because it's a direct fired heater. This is indirect fired. So just different basic styles of heating it up kind of thing. All right, that's good. See, one of the reasons I modified this is it has wheels on the front, so then you can just go like this. You don't have to lean it back. So we're gonna put this right here in the middle of the room. Last time we were here, this guy I had to sit and argue with for an hour to get him out of here. He was all for living with his bugs. He had bugs coming down from his ceiling and everything in here. It was wild, yeah. They were like crawling on the walls and stuff the first time we came in here. You notice this color fan is a different color. This is yellow, those ones are blue. This is a K&J fan, whereas the blue ones are a K&J fan. This is a Green Tech fan. This is 3,500 CFM. Those are about 2,800 CFM. So usually what I use these ones for is pulling the air more. Whereas those fans I'm using just to rotate the air around. This one will have a lot more suction, so we heat up this room, we force the air down that way, and then this apartment specifically has a door over there that's gonna let us circulate it all the way through. It's all about just moving air and getting it to where it's gotta go. And when you're positioning the fans too, for one, fans pull more air than they push, but the air that they do push, you kind of want to create like a tornado effect in here. So rather than just taking it and pointing it straight at the wall, you want to go like this, and it'll actually hit this wall, it'll bounce off that wall, bounce off that wall, and then you get this cylindrical effect that goes through the whole place. Yeah, and this heater too, specifically that we're about to crank on, is temperature controlled, so you can set the temperature to whatever you want. Whereas this one, you have to watch the temp. Same thing with the black one. So basically the way it's designed is once it hits 140 degrees, it'll shut off, it'll drop 5 degrees, and it'll kick back on. Really helps with conserving your propane and stuff too like that, because it's not a constant use of it. See, and you can tell that it's on because you can see the little burner down there. And essentially what it does is it forces the air out all these different ways and use the fans. I did modify these ones too. Normally with this model, you're supposed to take this, you set it in the window, and it pumps fresh air into here. Because just like the green one, it does release a little bit of CO2. But realistically, I bypassed that in the unit. The guys that I got it from told me how to do it. And as long as you're just using it as a supplemental heat, you don't actually need the fresh air. That, or if you need to, you just come over, you crack a window, get a little bit of fresh air in, and it's good to go. It eliminates a whole thing that could go wrong that you have to service and fix and everything like that. So we just let that sit and do its thing now. Gets really loud in here too with all the fans. This product too is another thing they just came out with. These have been a game changer. Basically, they had these steel splitters. And then just about 8 months ago, there's a company that came out with these. You can just roll them up, ball them up, keep them in a tote. You don't have a bunch of steel ones sitting around that take up a bunch of space. They just sink right over your ducts. These are probably one of my favorite things that we use for heat treatments that they came out with.
Like a big pair of shorts.
Yeah, I call them pants.
So do we start in the bottom of the house and work our way up?
No, so generally we're gonna wanna run to the farthest point and then work our way back. And you'll see when we set it up, I use a combination of these, what I call pants, and I basically put a splitter at each doorway, so that way it can fan out, it can go into the unit itself. But yeah, you wanna work from the farthest point back. There's a lot of equipment that goes into jobs like this. Big thing with heat treatments, especially on bigger jobs, is it takes a long time to set up. So as you get things set up, as you get portions of the building set up, you just want to get it rolling so that way you can get the temperature up. The process takes as long as it takes no matter what. You can't kill the heat fast. Bad places like this, you can heat for longer just to let the heat get in a bit more. But you never want to kill the heat early, no matter how much you want to go home. You're there to get the bugs. You're not there to get a paycheck. You got to get rid of the bugs.
Turn around, look what's on the floor, Tyler.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch in that other unit too. Like, obviously they knew they had bugs. You'd be surprised. Probably 90% of the calls I get for bed bugs too, people have tried to do their own thing and all it's done is made their situation worse. Especially bombing your place. You just end up spreading them, you push them into the walls and harder to reach places, so.
Just call a professional.
Yeah.
So you said this takes about 6 to 8 hours from setup to finish?
Yep. Usually about an hour to set up, hour to get up to temp. You hold that temp for 4 hours, an hour to pack up. And then we spray immediately after too. We don't just do the heat. We do a lot of these treatments, and I know some companies, they just do heat. We like to spray after because when you do as many treatments as we do, not to say that we don't do a good job, but when you're talking about thousands of bugs in a place, you just do your customer justice by spraying after in case a bug is left. If a bug gets left over after the treatment, it's just going to die from the product. You've already eliminated 90% of the bugs. You fried the eggs, you stopped them from hatching. So by spraying after, lets us give warranties on treatments and everything like that, and ensures we always get 100% success rate.
Do you typically warranty a job?
Yeah. So usually you get a 30-day warranty unless they're being brought back in. Most of the time people aren't bringing them back in, but every so often, if they can't figure out how they got them in the first place, or they give them to a family member or a friend during the time that they've even had them, it is possible. It does happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen.
How about vehicles?
Yeah, vehicles, I mean, it happens. We just treated that one. We just treated one. Man, that was probably like a month ago. The lady was living in her car and just tons and tons of fecal stains. She had to be eaten alive in there. But unless they have them super bad in the house, I would say 95% of the time they're not in the car. The car's like a travel area for somewhere or for somebody. It's like you don't spend enough time in the car. The bugs are very habitable creatures, so they're going to want to go towards their food source. So generally, if you bring something in your car, it's going to hop back on you the next time you get back in the car, and it's going to hitchhike out.
Yeah, most people think that bed bugs are just because they live filthy, but it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, definitely not, yeah.
They're just good hitchhikers.
Yeah, we just did a $750,000 home that they have cleaning people come in last week. It's not a dirty person problem. They just happen to get them more often. So the fan kicks in, gets the air going in, burner kicks in. Once the heat starts pumping out, it's got a longer extension line on it, so sometimes it takes the gas to come through. There we go. Yeah, when you have the longer extension lines on, sometimes it takes a while for the gas to get through the line, but that's rolling. This tells you the current temperature. You can already see it's starting to go up. We're starting at 87 degrees today, which is really good. Sometimes we're starting at like 65. There's certain things too people can do to the houses before we come, which is like turning your furnace on and cranking your furnace, maybe like a few hours before we get there. Just helps everything get up to temp and everything like that. So you're already up to 89. We'll let this thing do its thing and we'll keep working on another one. And this is a custom-made triple pants. We're actually the only company that has these. I got it as a test product. I gave them the idea for it. Basically, the design with it is that you hook your one duct that's running from the heater up to it, and it's designed for hallways, so you can still run a duct down the middle of the hallway, but then on each side, you can still branch off into the bedrooms and everything like that. Like I said, we're literally the only company that has these. It was custom made. And they said they didn't know if they wanted to make more, but I paid them extra for it. This needs to run down there. See, and the reason these things are game changers is because they're super easy. You just fit it around your duct. You don't have to worry about clamps, and you can store them super easy. So I know I said it's easy, but I'm struggling a little bit with this one. But yeah, you get it around, pull that tight, bam, and it's on. You don't have to worry about clamps or nothing like that. Then you basically put your another one on, and you'll actually see these inflate and stuff as you pump the air through them. One thing that we have is we have shorter ducts, and it kills you inside when you spend $200 on this ducting and you have to cut it up. So after so many treatments, we just end up using old ones to cut them up. These come in handy for like areas like this where we want to run it maybe 3 feet and then we want it to branch off again. And if you use a full-on duct for that, it's just too long and it doesn't work well. So we cut a couple of them up and make shorter ones. Now there's lots of different ways people do these treatments. This is what I've learned through experience on how to do them, just every day running heat treatments and finding out the best ways to heat houses. There's tons of different ways. Some people put pressure from the front of the house, force it back, open all the windows and everything, and that's how they get their air leakage, to get the air into the rooms. I prefer doing it this way because basically I'm forcing the air back to the front door. It just pressurizes the house a little better in my opinion, as well as it heats it up faster. It's a little more work up front getting set up, requires a little bit more equipment, but I'd rather do a more efficient treatment and make sure I'm getting rid of them like that. And this is a lot of work today for this house, but normal house doesn't normally take this much. It's set up maybe half the amount of ducts we're gonna do today. We wouldn't even use those other silver heaters or the black one. We can do pretty much everything with our green tech. So run that one in there, and then we take another one, we run it down there, and then we should be able to fire the green one up.
Tyler, how do you ensure that you don't bring bed bugs home with you?
Well, for one, we come in here when it's 140 degrees. So if any bugs do get on ourselves, which does happen when you're doing really bad places, they just die instantly. Other than that, I just don't sit on things, don't touch a lot of things, especially during inspections and stuff like that. If I'm gonna touch the ground or I'm gonna touch the bed in any way, I've already looked at that spot of the bed before I'm gonna brush up against it. But doing this for 8 years, and I never brought them home, so.
Yeah, do you typically undress at the shop and then go home, or do you just undress when you get to the door of your house?
Don't even do any of it.
Sheesh.
I literally don't do any of it.
The best practice is take your clothes off outside.
Yeah, best practice is take your clothes off outside and throw them in the dryer.
Bring a change of clothes with you.
Yeah.
Throw them in a plastic bag.
I know there's a lot of people that do that and everything, but I do this every day and I've never brought them home, so yeah.
I didn't even take a sauna this morning. I was standing here for the next 20, 30 minutes in my sauna and hang out with some bed bugs. It'd be fun.
Basically what I did there is I just connected the duct that we all set up upstairs, and now the air can go through here. Now, me personally, I stick the heater right in the door like this. You're still pulling plenty of fresh air from outside. And one thing that I learned is you cut your propane usage down by like 60%. A lot of people stick it way out there, run the duct all the way in. It really makes no difference. But by doing this, your heat loss that you're losing on the duct is not there anymore because you have the whole outside elements that cool your air down. And it just makes your propane usage go through the roof when you do that, so. And there is a couple of things with this heater too that I had this added on. This is a temperature regulator. I don't use it much. Maybe if we're doing a place that has fire sprinklers, I will, just because you really got to watch the temps on those places. But otherwise, when the temperature regulator kicks off on one of these things, it instantly kills all the heat and just starts pumping cold air inside. And it gives you all these uneven temperatures and everything. So not a huge fan of it, but I do use it on like fire sprinkler jobs and stuff. Got a little temperature probe that goes in the front of it. This basically tells us the temperature that's coming out. So as the heat passes through, it tells you the temperature. You control the temperature with the little pressure regulator. The more open you have, the more propane you're using, the higher the temp. All right, so when we turn this thing on, the way you tell it turns on is basically this temperature right here is gonna start going up, and it's gonna start going up pretty fast. But you first turn the fan on so there's fresh air running through it. After that, then you click the burner on. There's a little click. That click just happened. That means the burner kicked in. And if you see the temperature gauge, It's going up quick. It's at 90, 112, 135. This thing will crank out 300, 350 degrees, and it'll do that consistently. So usually what I do when I'm trying to get it up the temperature, when I'm first starting out, because I'm trying to get it up to 140 degrees, but the air that's coming out the tip is not the air that's coming out the end. So I'll usually crank it to about 200, 220, so then I know the end of the duct is about 180. 180 will start pumping the temperature up at a little bit faster rate, and then once we get it up to temp, you dial it all down, and then you can maintain about 180 on the heater, pump out 150 out the end, and then you maintain about 140 in the actual unit itself. But now that we got everything set up, then it's just a waiting game. You just wait for the temp to get up. A lot of sitting around during the day with this stuff.
So we just got done setting up the heat treatment in the house, and now we're gonna do a walk through Tyler in his trailer. Let's go check this thing out.
Yeah, so it's a little empty now. You guys saw most of the equipment. This trailer itself is just an accumulation of me sitting at job sites and getting bored during the day, so I find different things to make it better. But basically, I'll start with these. These are electric heaters. This is how we used to do houses completely. We'd max out the power on the house, plug into their outlets, and let it just sit and run. We don't necessarily do that style anymore, but we like to keep these in here because these help to supplement the heat. If we're doing an apartment or something like that, basically we'll use one of those silver heaters, one of those sleep tights. We'll use that for the main heater. We'll stick this one in a bedroom, and then it just helps get the temp up that much faster. These plug into dryer outlets, stove outlets. They'll run off that. They're actually pretty versatile where you can run them off of 110 volts too. Not to get too technical on you.
What does one of those run?
One of these is about 2,600 bucks. They might, I think, anywhere from that to like 3,200. And I just have a graveyard of these sitting at the shop now since we don't do that style anymore. Those things run off of these specialized cords. These cords themselves are about $600 a piece. They're specially designed to run off 220 volt, and then they have like your standard stove plug, or they have a dryer plug to them too. We have a bunch of those in here basically, so we can run multiple apartments at a time. I know these cords are all hanging. That's because I just pulled that off and those came off. Always want to have extra extension cords. These are extensions for the sleep tights, so like when we have longer runs and stuff like that where we gotta sit our tanks outside. This is where we put all the fans and everything. Every heat trailer I've had, I've put this setup in here. I've tried multiple different setups and this works the best. Bunch of E-tracks on the side, stack them all the way to the ceiling. Gives us a lot of walkway space inside. This is one of those steel splitters I was talking about that this used to be all they had, and these would take up all the space in your trailer. And realistically, I only have this because this will go right on the front of the green heater rather than use one of the cloth ones. This is a design that I got from the people that made the white pants like things. Really like this. This is if you're going down hallways and stuff like that, you can actually set a duct on top and a duct below. Saves you room to walk down the hallway. These are, all
we need is the golf balls with the string. And games.
That's essentially what they are, is testy tosses, yeah. We got plywood in here and stuff like that. Sometimes with vinyl floors, it can be a little tricky. If you got crappy vinyl floors in your house, or somebody installed them poorly where they're up against the wall and pressed tight and stuff, the floors can bulge up. It's something that happens with heat treatments. We'll squish them back down. As long as you do it when it's hot, they'll go back to normal and everything like that. I know that's a huge thing that when I have a lot of customers talk to me about heat treatments, it's something they bring up. But we have ways to stop all that from happening. This whole setup, this shelving setup, I also build in every heat trailer. This is my like third or fourth design of it. I used to have a chemical cabinet in it once and I took it out just because I wanted the more space. These we stick under mattresses and between box springs and stuff like that. Separates them, gets the airflow going. It's always good to prop things up and everything. These two totes right here, these are all fire sprinkler heads and vent covers. So basically what we do with these, if we're doing a place that has fire sprinklers like a hotel or something, basically just something you put over like your hose thing in the winter. You put this over the fire sprinkler, cover it up. They're rated for 155 degrees. We don't go that hot in the first place. A lot of people very nervous about doing fire sprinkler places. We do them regularly, never have problems with it or anything like that. You just got to take the proper precautions and, you know, pay attention to your heat. These are magnetic vent covers. With heat treatments, it's all about trying to hold the heat in and everything like that. So we just slip these over vents and everything so it allows less heat to escape out. Blankets to cover doorways and stuff. We got a garbage bin back here. This stuff right here, this is called Reflectix. Basically, we'll lay this underneath ducting and stuff like that. Just kind of helps with the heat touching certain objects. You can put it around special objects that you don't want to necessarily get fully heated. Obviously, we got the spare tire. I think we got like 3 or 4 flat tires this year. A lot of driving around, it happens. More Reflectix and everything like that. What do we got back here? Oh, this is actually a really cool thing that they just came out with a couple years ago. This goes on the back of that green heater, and what this does is allows us to take a duct from inside, run it to the back of that green heater, so when it's 0 degrees out or negative degrees out, instead of pulling that super cold air through it, we'll pull already hot air from inside and run it through the heater, and it cuts your propane costs down like massively. So in the summer, we can get about, I think like 7 jobs out of those tanks. In the winter, we can get like 2.
What does it cost to fill each one of these tanks right now?
Anywhere from 75 to 100 bucks, something like that. Propane's $1.11 per pound, but I got a really good propane guy that usually they won't charge me per pound. They'll charge me, like, if tanks are at half, they'll charge me 1 full tank for filling up both of them, kind of thing. So getting good with a local propane person is huge because you go through a lot of propane. This is obviously where we store all our ducting. This thing right here, this is called a distribution box. This plugs into stoves and dryer outlets and stuff. Breaks up into multiple circuits. They mainly were for the electric heaters when we used them, but they come in really handy. If you're on a house that has very limited power to plug all your fans in and stuff, you can just go straight to the stove, plug this thing in, run all your fans off of 1 outlet.
What's the downside of using electric heaters?
So the downside is, for one, you're not pressurizing the house. It's a different style of doing it. So like with those, you're heating the air up on the inside and you're not adding extra air. So you have to let it sit longer. When we did those treatments, they were 24-hour treatments. Instead of getting the house up to temp in an hour, the house gets up temp in 12 hours, and then you let it sit overnight. There are companies that do that. I really liked it, very effective treatments, but the problem is you're asking people to leave their house sometimes for a day, if not a week. And when you tell them, hey, you just got to leave at, say, like 8, 9 in the morning, you can come back at 7 o'clock at night. It's a lot more appealing to them.
But if you were just starting out, let's say in business, and you didn't have a whole lot of money, would you go this route or would you buy the big one first?
It's tough. Knowing what I know now, I would still go with the way we're doing it now versus those. If you don't have a lot of money and you're just going to do like apartments and hotels, I would get one of the sleep tight heaters versus getting those. It's just you run into a lot of problems and it's very technical. Like when we were doing those, I was breaking down the entire power system on the house by amps and watts and having to calculate exactly how much power I could use.
How many times did you blow a fuse when you're using them?
More times than I can count.
So downtown
Yeah. And if you're doing crappy houses, you know, like old school twist fuses, you pop one of those twist fuses and you don't got extras.
Yeah, so this is like $2,500, like $3,200. What is one of the bigger heaters that you just mentioned? Sleep tights. So
the sleep tights are about $5-6 grand a piece. The Green Tech was about $12,500. The Flagro was like
$800.
Yeah.
Being a sleep tight.
Yeah. So and it's another job or two that you clear, and you've made your money back on it. So
per day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people too, they do like 1 or 2, maybe even 5 or 6 heat jobs a month. We're running them basically Monday through Friday, right. So the equipment long pays for itself.
Right. You said you had about it was roughly about $150,000 just in this one trailer alone.
In this one trailer, yeah.
Cool.
Obviously, basic tool stuff. Those are all our extra ones. You know, you leave things in your pocket. We have this nice fancy one that whenever we remember it, this is what we like to use. But obviously, we got extras. We got screwdrivers. Sometimes you got to do maintenance on the heaters.
Inspection tool.
Yeah, flashlights. I'll be honest though, most of the time I just use Old Faithful for inspections. Yeah. Can't lose this. Lost plenty of those. Realistically, other than that though, we keep our propane under there. Couple of yellow fans go under there. Obviously we spray after. We like to use Crossfire for our follow-up one right after. It's a really good product, so.
You went all out on buying a nice sprayer.
Yeah, well, technically the guy's got the nice sprayer, but they're off doing another job, so that's why I'm doing this one today.
Cool.
There's just too many bed bugs out.
Not a bad problem to have for us.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we got this too. This is a Tyler Zillis original right here. So basically when you're heating furniture and stuff like that, like couches, chairs and stuff, you always have like the arms and like the sides and the cushion areas that are hard to get heat in. So I came up with this idea when I was sitting here bored one day, and I just basically drilled a bunch of holes in it. I shoved this down in those cracks.
PVC pipe?
Yeah, and so I'll take the cushions off the couch, but then like the whole cracks and stuff, I just jam this down into the cracks, and then it just helps push that heat in there that much more.
Are you usually, like, are you checking the temperature inside those areas too, like inside furniture?
Yeah, so actually when we go inside, we don't care about the temperature of the air. Like the air doesn't matter. We care about what the temp is inside the furniture, or what inside the mattress and stuff like that, down at the baseboards, underneath objects. So realistically, now that we got everything set up, we give it about an hour to set up or get up the temp. After that, we're gonna go inside every 20 to 30 minutes, and we're gonna take temperature readings.
Yeah, that was my next question. So like, I don't know, a lot of people say, well, you have, you know, a couple guys sitting around. Do they usually get picked up and brought to different jobs, or why does someone have to be here at all times?
So somebody does, at least one person has to be here at all times, and realistically, I like running 2 people just for the fact that, for one, you got a lot of equipment, but for 2 really hot days like this, going into 140-degree heat, a lot of guys is very hard on them, and it's good to have a second guy here so they can either alternate going in and out, or like essentially if something were to happen, you know, you got a second guy in here. If the guy doesn't come out, you know, you go in and check on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, so as far as price point, I'm not gonna say how much you charge this customer, but typically, what would an average place like this cost? Give me a range.
Well, I would say our average small place anywhere from like $2,000, but we've done places for 15 grand before. You know.
So it's a big range, all by square footage. How much work goes into it?
Yeah, it's basically all square footage. Bigger the size of the place, more that goes into it. So.
Cool. Just kidding. Okay, Tyler, what do we got here?
So this is our diesel tanks that we use and everything like that. We used to use the normal ones that you carry around and stuff, but
5 gallons. Yeah,
the 5 gallons. But realistically, we got to bring like 8 of them to the job site just to feed that gas guzzler.
We got 2 of these, and these are each 30 gallons.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit easier. You can put it down. You fill it right here and everything. It's got the hose attachment. I will tell you, when I got it, I didn't realize it was gravity fed, and I learned after we got them that they're gravity fed. So a little bit of a pain in the butt, but way easier for hauling around and just storing. So basically when we fill it, you have to constantly just...
Is it a pump?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. If there was a way to pressurize it or something like that, or...
It's just like going to the gym with those little squeeze handles.
Yeah. Well, Tony, the guy that does the heat treatments, he just picks it up. Like, he's one of those big strong men. He's just built, so he just picks them up and holds it over the top, and then it's gravity fed at that point. So it works out really nice. So still better than having to do the other ones.
Cool. Check the heat.
Yeah.
You say about 30 minutes you've been in?
Yeah, this one probably. This is the first one we set up with the flag rower or whatnot. Got it rolling, went and set up the other stuff. Now that we finished, we come in here and we check this one. We're looking at about 131. Right in front of the duct, that's about 145 over there. But about 131 degrees in here. And we literally just finally set up the other side. So that's one reason you get it going and you keep going. So this is already basically up to temp in here. So which is really cool, because when we break down a place this size, it's all about holding for a certain amount of time. We can start over here while the other side's still heating.
Okay, now we're gonna go check room number 2.
Yeah, this is
hotter in here though. It's about standing here.
Yeah, see, this is about 148 in here. So with this one, that flag row, you can't actually regulate the temperature on it. So one thing we're gonna do is we'll open up a window. It allows the heat to escape out, and I probably gotta find something to prop this with, but it'll allow the heat to escape out. That, or you just pull the duct out. There's lots of different ways you can cool it down, but generally you wanna keep it anywhere 140, 150 is still fine, especially in a vacant like this. Really not a big deal. You don't have anything in here. TVs and electronics would still be fine at 150 degrees too. We actually do a lot of roach treatments too, where we kill cockroaches. Cockroaches die at about 150 to 155 degrees, so
typically when, I know it's really hot in here, so we don't have to stay here a long time, but if you have equipment, let's say TVs, PlayStations, all those types. Do you have the customer remove those things?
No, we actually have them leave them in there. We found bed bugs in TVs before and all that stuff. So there is some slight things they got to take out, like batteries, aerosol cans, wax candles, things like that. But otherwise, TVs and electronics, they're all safe to stay in there. They just get unplugged.
Do you let the customer know beforehand what they need to do before you get there to prep the job?
Oh, 100%. We'll go and inspect every single job, and then we physically walk through their whole house with them with the checklist and show them what needs to come out, what doesn't need to come out. So. And it's crazy because you can go through the whole checklist with the customer and show up that day to do the treatment, and they haven't done a thing.
Yeah, what's the worst bed bug job you've seen in the last 8 years?
I did a trailer for a guy who literally I had to be his alarm clock every time we showed up there. And essentially, I was picking up the bed. There was thousands of them on his bed, his tiny single bed. He had all his carpet ripped out. They were running through the subfloor in the cracks. We had to heat the underside of the trailer while we actually heated the actual trailer because there was so many bugs and they were trying to escape all over the place.
I know when you said when you walked into this place originally, there was, this is the second time we treated, but the first time they were literally climbing down the walls.
Yeah.
Where does this rank in the top jobs that you've done in the past? Would this even make the top 10?
This room would probably make it in the top 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
But the whole building as a whole, no.
Gotcha. We can get out of here. It's really hot. 155 degrees. Standing here for like 3 minutes. As you can probably tell, I'm sweating bullets.
So then we'll just go back to the front and we'll check on that one because that was the second area we set up.
A little cooler on this side.
Yeah, it's way cooler on this
But
side.
we started at probably 20 minutes, half hour late, 20 minutes after? Yeah.
Probably about 20 minutes after we set up that first one.
That says 115, you think? Is that?
Yeah, as you can see, it says 115 degrees on there. This heater just isn't as big as the other heaters, so they all heat at different temps, but it'll get up to temp, just takes a little bit longer.
And this is the one that we were kind of talking about earlier in the trailer too.
Yeah.
This one's about 5,000 bucks.
Yeah, if I was on a budget, this is what I would get. I would get one of these, and I would get 8 of those blue fans that we set up.
And the fans are a couple $100, you said?
About 350 bucks a piece. So for about 10 grand, a little under, you can get a full heat set up. And I mean, with maybe 3-4 jobs, it's paid for.
And that's what you're talking about with the pricing. Like you figured anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000. But how many square feet will one of these do with the 5 fans?
So this will do about 1,000 square feet.
So what would you do if you had just this one unit here, but then had a 4-bedroom house? What do you do there?
I tell them I couldn't heat it, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of companies, they'll try and piece out houses.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, the problem is, for one, you're not getting an even temp on both sides of the wall. Plus, the bugs can try and run. So if you just section off the houses and you heat them like that, it's just potentially pushing the bugs back and forth. You can do it. It's just a riskier game to do.
Have you ever got into a job like this where you didn't heat treat, where you tried to just spray it?
Not unless they want to do it.
Right.
I prefer to heat all day long.
For sure.
It's just, it doesn't require all the follow-up visits. It's way more effective. And if I ever got bed bugs personally, the last thing I want to do is launder everything I own, put it in garbage bags, and isolate it like you're supposed to do with chemical treatment.
But I mean, a lot of the products have come a long way. Like you said, there's products that you're in the that work really, really well. So if you have a small bed bug job, or you're doing like hotels or like maybe some small condos.
Yep, some places they don't want heat at all, and it's not to say we don't do chemical treatments, because we do. It's just, if I had a preference, I'd choose the heat. But yeah, hotel rooms, they're never really that bad. Realistically, we can go in there and spray. Maybe they got a couple of bugs, so it's probably from the person before. Yeah. Cool. Otherwise, small apartments and stuff. Right. But if you got all different bugs, you got them in multiple rooms, it's just way better to just heat the place up.
Yeah. Cool. So like you wouldn't, if you had a one unit like this and you only had this one unit, you wouldn't even try to bid on a job like this?
No, I wouldn't. But one thing that people on a budget can do, and this is something we did in the early days, was you buy the equipment, you get a big job, you know you're going to get paid for that job, you go buy another piece of equipment. And then you basically just, you know you're getting paid for it, you use that money to buy the next one, and that's kind of how we got, I think, like $250,000 wrapped up in all the bed bug stuff as a whole. So like, and it's just do a job.
8 years.
Yeah, over 8 years. But really, we haven't bought new stuff in a while. I know the Waukesha branch, I was literally talking to Matt about it yesterday. We're going to be buying one of these here within the next week and getting a whole fan set up and stuff like that. So.
Oh. I don't go check upstairs. Said we've been running for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. We're gonna go check up the upstairs, see how the upstairs is doing. So it doesn't feel as hot as the very first room we did, but it doesn't feel as cold as the second room. So
this has probably only been 10, 15 minutes since we kicked that one on.
Right.
It took a lot longer to set up all the ducting and everything, but this is what I was saying outside, that heater's pumping out 220 degrees at the front end. It's pumping out 167 up here. So that's a heat loss of about 40 degrees just going that 40, 50 feet up here. So that's why you end up, you come up, you check it out. It's about 130 degrees in here though too.
So this room is probably what, 600-700 square feet? Maybe not quite that?
Yeah, I mean, what's that? It's gotta be like 15 by 15, that's about 300.
Yeah.
So you probably
if you had one unit, you could easily do an apartment like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You could take one of those sleep tights we had downstairs. You could easily do a place like this. This is what I would recommend it for, apartments like this, 1 or 2 bedrooms. You get maybe one of those blue heaters like we talked about, and you use that.
Cool. And then obviously the fans, kind of talked about it, just disperses the heat around. Yep. It makes like a cylindrical effect, tornado effect. So it gets moves the heat around.
Yeah, and vacant units like this are really nice because you don't have all the stuff blocking and everything like that. Sometimes you got to get a little more creative when you got a bunch of stuff in here, but vacants are really nice for this.
We're gonna go check the other 2 rooms.
Sure, let's do it. Yeah, the smells really come out during the heat treatments.
Oh, that's good. We were in that room earlier, and it smells so bad, like a smell that I've never smelled before. So this should be cool.
While we're still getting it up to temp and stuff too, a lot of it I'm not necessarily looking for the cracks. I know I said I don't really pay attention to the air, but just while it's getting up to temp, I'm just pulling general readings.
So it feels like the AC's on in this room.
Yeah, and it's 107 degrees.
107. So that just goes to show you how hot those other rooms are. Yeah. It feels cool in here.
Yeah, I go outside in the middle of winter when it's negative degrees out, and I start steaming like Superman because it's so hot.
All right, so, now the smelly room?
Yeah, let's do it. So this room too, right before we get there, because I can already smell that room.
It smells like someone smoked in here for like 60 years.
Yep, yeah, the heat really brings out the smells. This one's already at 138 degrees though. And it's the same heater that's heating downstairs. So that's why, like I told you before, it's all about square footage. Prepare yourself.
Oh my God, I might throw up.
Oh, you smell that? Whoo! That's wild, dude. Can you plug that in right there?
I have to touch something?
As little as possible.
Cook some dinner, guys.
That's why Bedbugs isn't for everybody.
We got some rice-a-roni. And then for a side, we got either mixed vegetables or sweet peas and carrots.
There we go.
What do we got for a temperature? This was the last room that we set up, so.
Yeah, and it's also on the end of the duct too. So like this is where the most heat loss is, the less pressure coming out. It's pumping out about 116 right now. So a couple of things we can do is we can choke off those other bedrooms now that they're up to temp, limit the air coming out there, force it back here. But right now we're still at about 108 in here, 140. We're probably gonna smell this place down the hallway. We've done nastier places than this too.
We get the job all done. Tyler, what are we gonna do next to walk us through the process?
We're gonna pack everything up, put everything back in the trailer.
Just the way we found it?
Exactly the way we found it.
Yeah.
And then basically go through and spray the entire place too. Give it some follow protection, give it a couple weeks, and then follow up in about 30 days.
So we guys got done spraying everything. Do we ever get any callbacks? What does that look like?
So yeah, it does happen. Unfortunately, we try to be transparent up front with the customer, you know, just tell them, hey, it does happen. Generally, after these treatments, the way it works is we ask them to give it about 2 weeks. If there's any bugs left over, most likely they're gonna be found within the first day or two because we just disturbed all of them. We made them real mad. And then in order to come out of whatever hiding spot they may have found, they're gonna go through the product we just sprayed and they're gonna die. It's just not an instant kill.
Yeah, in an instance like that, do you typically go back there and just spray the baseboard, spray everything again, or do you typically bring the whole trailer back with it and reheat it?
We will come back with the whole trailer, but it never comes to that. If it's something within the 2 weeks, we don't even have to do anything. If it's something after like 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, then we'll come back. We'll use a different type of product that just doesn't hold up as well with the heat. And that's all it ever really comes to. So.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap. Hope you guys liked the video. Stay tuned for more. We've got a really good exclusion one coming for you too.